Yo, what's up, family? Listen, if y'all really just knew like
Oh man.
what it takes for us to just make sure we're going live and going live the right way,
Yeah.
y'all would just crack up laughing with us.
Uh,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back
Yo!
to the Whale
Joel is back,
Encounter.
baby!
It feels so good to be back, man.
Yeah, it does.
I know we've been on a break, and
Whew, it's only been a month.
it's only been a month, but it feels like it's
Yeah,
been
yeah. It
forever.
felt like we missed a whole season for real.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like no, for real, it feels like we're actually in a whole new season. Like that's what it was. Like we took a break to like take a break for a season,
Now I know how
and like
sitcoms feel. That
exactly,
anticipation of wait, like when we get back on.
yeah. People have been reaching out
Oh
to
man.
us and checking in with us, and
Oops.
so we're just happy to be back. And you know what I'm doing right now because I'm not looking totally at you guys is I'm
Why are you not looking at
listen,
them?
because I am totally trying to make sure that I post it in all of the chats that we're a part of to make sure that they know we're back. So, tell you what, if you're on, why don't you like this and
Like,
like comment and let us know you're
share,
here,
share,
which
share.
I know a couple people have already done. I think I saw Miss Nikki down in the chat. And I see that Willie Clark is on.
Clark, well, boy.
So we're just happy to see all of you all, to know that you're back with us. And yeah, why don't you share this on your page
Share.
and share it in the different groups that you're in so that people will join in with
Present
us.
though. We'll be in school.
What I say?
I'm
Look,
talking
oh,
about
Miss
Miss
Nikki
Nikki
said
said
present.
present like we in school.
Listen, I just want to take a moment and
Oh
address like
man.
I know we haven't been with you guys. You know, we've just been handling life.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
needed to take a quick moment and a break. 3J has been still with his son,
Hmm.
who is getting better, but has definitely been in the
Much better.
hospital. And so we want you to continue to lift him up in prayer,
Absolutely.
little
Thank
Jew.
you. Thank you.
You know, Brennan and myself and Pastor Tay, we all have been dealing with life. Glad to be back with you.
And let's call it call this what it is too. That hot holy summer series, we needed a break from that. It just got too hot. We had nothing to come back after that, y'all. Y'all shut that down. So we want to tell the truth on that. But let's get
Yeah, listen,
started.
I want to say hi to Jawan, hi to Manika, hi to Miss Nikki, all the folks, and Willie, like I said, all of y'all who are on. And yeah, welcome back. We missed y'all too. Tonight, we are starting our new theme, which is Indecency
Indecency and
and
order.
Order. Man,
Where did that come from? Like, I think it came from watching Law and Order, and then you started asking questions about guns and stuff.
I think, actually, I think Brennan, you and I just kind of
Yeah,
was like,
yeah, right.
somebody, Miss Nikki said we need more hot holy summer too. Um, so so listen, but we have an amazing night, an amazing like y'all. The next couple of months are going to blow your mind. In this whole indecency and order,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to talk about some stuff that is personal, some stuff that will hit us as a community of believers and non-believers. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And tonight we're talking about guns don't kill people, which will bring in our whole panel, which is all squad tonight.
Squad!
But
Gang, gang.
we're going to talk about. We sent out the email today, and we're going to talk about gentrification. We're going to talk about substance use, marijuana, and alcohol. And
We digging
y'all,
deep. We're
listen,
gonna go deep into the well.
and it's
Watch.
crazy the amount and the people that we've got who will be on with us over the next couple of months. We've got some fire people, and y'all, we've got events coming up to talk about. We're about to do some major things. Listen, when I tell y'all, be on the lookout. We have some major announcements coming soon. Some events you will not want to miss in person. Some things that are going to happen over the next like couple of months. It's gonna be crazy. So all my Wellians, I need y'all to just like stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up for the emails. Make sure you're following all of our social media pages. It's about to get crazy.
Let's get
Listen,
started,
shout
yo.
out to super producer Jackie, and then Jackie,
The
why don't you
voice of God.
bring in the voice of God.
The
Why don't you
voice.
bring in the rest of our team so we could just like, yeah.
Where they at? Where they at? Squad! Gang, gang. What's up, y'all? What's going on? Who we starting with first? Who we gonna have
I'm
introduce?
gonna let you look at Brennan.
Okay, so bro Harrington, you on that corner this time? Yeah, no, that one. Damn, I'm on the wrong side this time. Brennan, tell me what's up, bro? What's poppin', bro?
Listen, man, I'm glad to be back here with the people, man. It's been a minute. We definitely had to take a break after that hot holy
Told you.
summer. It was. Yeah, I mean, I got water this time. I'm prepared for it. You feel me? So I got water on the side just in case it get hot in here again. I'm just throw
Yeah.
it at the iPad and hope it hit everybody. Nah, man. Just glad to be back. Glad to be back. Glad to be with the people. Yeah, man, life got crazy. But yeah, just glad to be back, man. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
ready to hit the
yeah,
ground
yeah.
running.
Yeah, yeah.
You can take it.
So I say flip a coin. This way. You, Miss Carr.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm honored to be back and I'm ready to go and got the call and I answered.
I know that's real. And then, last but not least, the one of the poets of all poets. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. It is Butterfly Free once again, saying yes to the mess, you know?
Yes to the
Because
Listen,
we
yeah, take it
on,
over.
it's
it is
going
always
to
a
go
great
down
pleasure to
today.
have the people that's about to go
Oh,
down today.
Hmm.
Listen, it is always a pleasure to have you all on. As you know, we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. It's a nice conversation. Guns don't kill people. And listen, yeah, we're cooking it up. As you see, Brendan,
oh,
be getting ready.
you know
We
what?
do have one more person to come on with us. I know you guys see the logo back down there, so we're just gonna represent that logo right now. We do have another friend of our or another squad member coming on. But
So before we do this, I'm sorry because it was just brought to our attention, thanks to Miss Nikki. So we're going to switch roles since we're switching roles today. So the well are about the 5 P's. So Pastor Ray, can you please tell us what those 5 P's are?
If you
so
fumble this
anything,
bag, I
every
just
listen,
want you to know you never gonna live it down. If you fumble this bag
listen,
today, you never gonna live
listen.
that down.
But can I tell you how, Nikki? Can I tell you how much I love you for the mere fact that that shows that we have branded those five
Oh
P's,
man.
and I
Woo.
love it.
Oh.
So that's right. Everything that we do at the well should lead you down the road to the five P's. Come on here in that block. Passion,
Nah, see,
purpose,
super producer.
promise.
Nah.
Okay,
We just
Jackie
we
is
not
on
having
it.
that. We not having
Jackie is on
Mm-mm.
it. So everything that we do should lead you down that purpose, passion, purpose, promise, peace, and power. We hope that our conversations lead you down those roads,
Mm-hmm.
and we pray that right. One of the things we love about the well is the fact that we can disagree but still love each other, and
Yeah.
we don't believe that Christians do enough of that. So many times you've got different races who meet. Right, this church is all white, all black, all Spanish. This church is all conservative. This church is all progressive. This church is all independent, and we don't have enough of coming together. And I think
Facts.
what the well tries to do is make sure that we remember, even though we might disagree on theology, ideology, and all of our thoughts, we can still love each other through it, and that is
Amen.
so important to us.
Yeah.
So, Miss Nikki, I hope that I did it. I hope that I did
Dang, Brennan, he cheated though. Dang.
Yeah, he definitely cheated. I ain't like that. I ain't like that. He was supposed to run them off memory. He
He
talked
ain't
for
like
like
it.
5 minutes and then had to remember him,
He
and
ain't
then
like
he
it.
saw him on screen and was like, "Yeah, I got him. I seen that."
I so I don't know if y'all know about the current trend that's happening on Twitter, but so if you don't know, 3J has his own
Why
red
do you
flag.
have a red flag?
Because it's part of the new trend that's happening, right?
If y'all, so I don't, and I literally just
Speaking
learned
of
about this
trends,
whole
I just
trend.
want to know what everybody did with all them crates while we talking about
So what?
trends.
Oh
Oh, the
yeah.
crate challenge.
Hopefully they went back to the grocery store.
Listen. I know we got a whole conversation to get into, but that's a really good point. Like after everybody bought all those crates and then did all of those crate challenges, like? Do people return the crates after they're finished? Like, is that like what happens?
People just look foolish with like 80 crates that they don't know what to do with now. It's like they want to go
Some
get a
furniture,
refund, and they like, nah, fam, that was a final sale.
make a Christmas tree.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So listen, we do have a conversation to get into tonight.
Get
Is
it.
guns don't kill people. Again, if you're watching, make sure you like this. Make sure you share it to your groups and all your chats. Listen, we should do another competition at some point. The person who shares the most. I want to say hi to Helen Ellis, one of our Facebook squad members in Wellians. She's on. So I hope that you talk to us, Miss Helen. Um, but we're talking about guns don't kill people, and specifically, we want to wrestle with a lot of the questions on murder and killing. You
Mm-hmm.
know that violence is up across our country by numerous percentage scale, and so we are seeing it. And one of our questions we're going to talk about tonight is murder or killing ever justified?
Mm.
We want to talk about abortion. Is
Let's get
abortion ever
real.
justified?
Let's
We want
get
to talk
real.
about the mask mandates and the vaccine mandates, are they justified?
Mm.
And if not, are we murdering people by not taking the vaccine? So we're going to have a
Ooh,
really good
that's
conversation.
deep. Okay, you
A
trying to
really good
get dirty.
conversation.
Oh, you want to get dirty tonight. I like that. Okay.
So
I
just for
said
the
we're going to
record,
get dirty to get clean.
that's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
it. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's it. So I guess I want to start off with the question of so when we talk about murder and we talk about killing, there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Brennen B, I'm actually going to go right to you because you pointed this out when we first started having this conversation about murder and killing. But if you remember what you said, but you kind
It's
of
coming
really
back to
pointed out the difference.
Come back to the meeting, son. Come back to the meeting.
No, I mean,
Yeah, but
I think from what I remember, the main difference in it was kind of intent for me. I think murder is something where you go out and you intend to physically harm someone or physically end someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
Killing, I think, like a killing can be a murder, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Someone can be killed by accident. I don't think someone can be
Mm-hmm.
murdered by accident. So I think it's the intent of the more for me more so was the intent of the action in trying to end someone's life was that like that line I used to differentiate between murder and killing.
Mm.
yeah, one of the places I read that murder, I think even to further your definition, but murder is the premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna you thought about it, right, and
Yep.
you're executing a plan, which is different from the killing piece.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so just for our working definition of tonight, Butterfly and Kim, do you all or can we all be in agreement to that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. So then the question now, we're going to jump right into it is, and all of you all who are watching online, Miss Nikki and Jawan, all of you guys would love your input as well. Is murder or killing ever justifiable? Is it ever justifiable?
It's so it's so many ways you could start that. Like it really, really could. Killing can be justifiable. I will say that because in defense, like if
Okay.
you're getting attacked or you're getting robbed and you end up scruffing it out or something like that, and somebody ends up getting hurt and you end up snapping that man neck or something like that. Hey, it happens. You know what I'm saying? You was defending yourself, so yeah, I believe that could be justifiable when you're for your life. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Something happened to you. Murder. Oh my God. That's it makes you think, right? Because murders are premeditated, right? And you would think no. However, if you go into scripture, there were a lot of killings that were premeditated, especially by our God. So it's kind of really hard to get into that because it's like, well, we can put a Bible on this. You see how God had planned to kill people. That's murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Like, so it's that one I can't answer. I'll leave that one alone just because of that.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Like
I leave the door open.
yeah, I'll leave it open too.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this as my one cop out. I don't know. Like, I think that's the best answer I can give, and I think it's partially because of, um, I mean, some of the circumstances that come out of people, whether it's a killing or a murder. Um, I mean, because listen, I'm not gonna lie, there has been, I guess, from my standpoint of point of view, there have been some, some sanctioned murders by God, because they were intended to, cause that person that physical harm,
Mm-hmm.
and so, can I say that that's wrong or it's not justified? I don't know. Like, and that's where,
Yeah,
and
right.
it may be that my understanding of the scripture in that case is wrong, and that it wasn't necessarily a murder. That's just what happened, and the person died, so it was an accidental killing. Is so ambiguous. I'm not sure. I just know that both happened, and like at the end of the day, where I kind of again draw that line is based on your intent. I think the end result doesn't necessarily, like, the intent doesn't change the end result in a sense. But I think if I had to draw a line on justifying it or not justifying it, it would be on the intent to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that goes along, and I think we'll answer more of that when we go further down the line in the question when later on when we talk about war. Um, so I think, biblically the causes for the war, and yeah, like you said in the Old Testament, there was a lot of slaughtering going on. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
whew, that was cold. That was cold. But um,
Uh-oh.
but
Tavon, real quick. Hold
Yeah.
on, real quick. Pastor Tay, I think you hopped on the wrong
Oh,
link. I think you
oh,
should
Oh
he
have.
took
I
no.
think you might have.
butterfly
Yeah, I think you hopped on Butterfly's link. So there should
We
be
ain't
a
need her
email
anyway. I'm
to.
back. No,
out.
I'm sorry, butterfly. We gonna fix this.
No.
he's gonna fix
Oh
it,
man.
not we.
Oh man. Oh.
The funny things about going live, man. I
Oh
tell you, it's
man.
like
Oh man.
It's real, raw, and authentic, man. You can't make these bloopers up.
yeah. You
Nah,
tell
you
Butterfly
got.
to log off and log back on.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting on them to come back on, I will say Crystal Hollingsworth said in defense for sure, it is justifiable. Um, Miss Nikki says whenever people in Scripture murdered others outside of God's purpose, it was a problem. And so Miss Nikki, I'm going to take it that you're saying that that there were times when in Scripture that
Murders were
murder
justified.
was in God's purpose. Willie Clark says
Ooh.
the potter can always do away with his clay.
Mm.
And Jawan
Woo.
asked the question,
Woo.
justifiable in
y'all,
what way?
y'all getting. Yeah,
I
y'all
don't like
getting
that though.
started.
Is it still
I ain't
is
gonna,
the question still is murder and killing justifiable?
mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, both of them are,
Oh,
Mhm.
oh wow.
Okay.
Let's
You want to
in
unpack
my
that?
yeah,
I
by
like
opinion.
all
that.
means.
I like
Sure,
that.
Yeah, unpack that
because
please.
if I was Cynthia Brown, I would want to put a bullet in somebody that sex trafficked me too. That was murder.
Mm.
She went to jail for that murder. I mean, she was released out on parole, but she killed that man with intent. That wasn't an accident. But what he did to her, that would, mm, yeah, I'm with sis on that one. Or somebody like, in a sense, Ted Bundy, who was a serial rapist and a murderer. And they put, basically, they electrocuted or executed him, in a sense, for that's murder, in a sense. But people like that, in my opinion, just don't need to be walking.
Wow,
Wow.
wow.
Okay. All right.
Why
What?
would you
Well, listen. And what I love is that
Woo.
this is a very like we're open
Mm.
to everybody's thoughts on this. Brandon, you about to say something though? I want to stop you.
Not yeah, and I think that that perspective from Butterfly brings in like what makes something justifiable. Like it
Mm.
brings that question in on what level, because on a I guess a personal, level, um, I can absolutely 100% understand why Cynthia Brown did what she did. And,
Mm-hmm.
and like can't even say that I would advise her to do something different if I had the
Different.
opportunity to in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
because of what she went through. Like I wouldn't know exactly what to say to her in that moment if I could have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Or that I would have done something different. Like let's be real. I'll say that too. I
Part,
can't say that I
Brittany.
wouldn't have done something different, but I don't know if that necessarily like. And see, that's where from a personal standpoint, I can say in my mind she was
Yes, sir.
justified, but from a spiritual standpoint, I have to think of I, I think of it differently, and it may be in a little way, like from a standpoint of at what point does my forgiveness come into me ending someone else's life?
Mm-hmm.
At what point does that does my spiritual journey in that come into that decision? And so would it be justified from a spiritual standpoint? I don't like I said earlier. I don't know,
I got it. Oh,
man.
so hold on, say
No
butterfly
problem.
with the first person that you mentioned, because you said she came back and basically murdered old boy. With you saying that, are you also saying that revenge is justifiable, even in faith? Is revenge justifiable?
Ooh.
Mm,
Look at
that's
him coming with a good question.
yo,
Everybody get
He
one, I
trying to be
guess.
yo.
funny. He
That
trying to
was
be
a
If
good
funny.
question, bro.
if I can intervene here,
Yeah, please,
because
Kim. Yeah, by all means.
I've had a personal experience. My uncle was when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, my uncle was brutally murdered by his go digging girlfriend's boyfriend. So greed drove the murder, and it became a cold case for about 10 years. And eventually in Orange County, they got a new DA who opened up cold cases, and they got both of them. Now, this man came into my uncle's house, shot him about at least 10 times in the kitchen.
Oh man.
Um, yeah. Uh, the story was actually on Dateline. Lester Holt did the story. Now, um, sure, I think I think just like what Brendan was saying was our humanness, and even Butterfly was saying that our humanness is like, yeah, let's get this SOB. Maybe they deserve the death penalty. However, spiritually, and where we are supposed to be in forgiveness, even in the face of pure evil, what are we supposed to do? So, yeah, they're both in jail, but me personally, I'm not an advocate for the death penalty. Uh, I, 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 I put that in, I actually, for me, I ultimately put that in God's hands. It's not for me to take life. It's not my decision. It's not my judgment. Now, do I have feelings about it? Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, you know, but I have to stop myself in place and say, okay, what's taking over my heart right now? Is it Satan going, okay, whispering in my ear, an eye for an eye or tooth for a tooth? Or is it what Jesus is saying, is that even in the darkest moments, can you forgive? And I think we have these angels on earth who have gone through travesties. The church in Charleston, South Carolina, who had amazing saints in that church, who forgave, who forgave that young man who did horrific atrocities against them. When you had a church, I remember the church up in Pennsylvania. It was like, I think, an Amish community, and
Yeah.
and that was a mass murder. First thing they did was forget. Now, can all of us do that? No, because we all. It's easy to say it when we're not in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's hard. My my
Yeah.
my ex, for example, he almost murdered my daughter, And I had a coworker come up to me and say, I have a friend who can take care of it. And I confessed it. I thought about it. I thought about it. You know, I
Yeah.
really
Mm-hmm.
did, seriously. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he hurt her. I mean, seriously, guys, this is serious.
That's
My
deep. That's
daughter,
deep.
cerebral palsy, because he threw her to the ground when she was eight
Wow.
months old. So this is serious. So,
Wow.
and she should have died. Um, all signs were pointing to that. Pressure went into her brainstem. And for the grace of God, I said to God, you know, it's your will. If you take her, you know, I accept that. But, you know, if you don't, I pray for that. And so, you know, we all come at crossroads in our life on what is the right thing and maybe like which path we're going to take. And I thank God and I pray to God that I stay on the right path that hopefully he wants me on. So, of course, naturally, I declined the offer. But, you know, Satan puts those in your path like, you know, let's see how far she'll go. Let's see what this woman of God will do when revenge is on the table. So, yeah.
It's so interesting. I'm listening to what you said. First of all, Kim, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's
That's a very
wow.
personal story,
Yeah.
and we appreciate you being vulnerable enough to share that with us. And so sorry that that had to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but absolutely
To
glad
no
that you
cheater.
made the choice. Whether some people say it's right or wrong, happy you made that choice to not do it, so that you're still here with us,
Mm-hmm.
and that we can still have you a part of the whale,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that your family, you know, can still enjoy your company too. Um, David, I'm sorry, Jawan talks about David told his son to get revenge on his deathbed, and I still don't see it spiritually. And then Miss Nikki says the Mosaic law said an eye for an eye, and that revenge was okay, but Jesus came later on and said, no, forgive our enemies. And God also said, vengeance is mine. I want to just go back real quick. Crystal also says, praying for you, Queen, talking to you, Kim. That was a horrible story, and you're a strong woman.
Facts.
And
Amen.
she also says, "Hey, Sean, I think
I
Sean
think
must
that.
be on as well." Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say this. So we've talked about then, as we caveat, you all have all kind of like touched on these moments, some personal, some not as personal, but we also know those stories. The question then is like, so in our own theological viewpoint, how do we see the Bible kind of talking about killing and murder?
Whew. Oh man.
Tayron, I'm gonna look at
Yeah,
you.
Tay, you back up.
What?
Tay.
Pastor
You
Tay,
start.
Pastor
Pastor
Tay.
Tay, yeah, you start.
Since you got, I know you
um,
got something ready.
yeah. Well, to answer the last question, like, I'm totally against like murder or the death penalty unless you kill one of my peoples, right? Like, it's subjective. Like, honestly, it's hard to picture yourself in, like, from the outside looking in. Yeah, the death penalty is wrong, but do something to my mama and see how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's a very hard. I don't even want to say it's a thin line. That's a very it's a very hard thing to tolerate. But I mean, as far as the Bible, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, with a lot of things, right? It goes either or. I think when we look at Scripture, we have to look at it from each book, from each situation, and if you want to go to like the Old Testament, man, what was it? Uh Exodus, I shall never kill, and then Leviticus, if you sleep with my wife, you and her die. You know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
murder was everywhere, right? Like we look at David. He killed Goliath because he had a slingshot, and Yo said cap him, and he just popped and slid off his head, and that was nothing. I mean, we even Saul, he lost his favor with God because when he killed him, he took everything instead of leaving it and burning it as a sacrifice to God. So we look at murder is so entrenched in the Bible, and it's mostly in the Old Testament. When we look at the New Testament, we look at the covenant with Christ. He preached nothing but love. Even when he's about to get hemmed up, and Peter was like, "Nah, take the
Yup.
ear, slice." He put it back
Yup.
on.
Don't be
So
put
like,
away.
you know what I mean. So I just think it's however you identify with Scripture, and I love to say that because some people identify with the grace of Scripture, the forgiveness, the love, the happiness, the joy, And then some people
Mm-hmm.
identify with the obedience and the justice, and you know what I mean? So there's how do you identify with scripture, and then there's your answer. For me, I identify with the love and the joy and the grace until you come at mine. So
Yeah, I mean, in scripture, we definitely
So,
so we do.
so
Oh,
let me emphasize on that. So then for you, it becomes conditional then, right?
say it again.
So then for you, it becomes conditional because
Yeah, definitely.
if you're expressing it focused on love until you come at me, then it's a whole different story.
Well, I feel like it's the human condition, right? Like I do my
Yeah.
best to love everyone and treat everyone equal, right? Like if I don't know you, I'm gonna give you the same respect I give anybody, the same love I give anybody. But if you slap me on my face, I don't know how much I'm gonna love you. Now I won't kill you, but that
Try
changes our
Right.
Jesus.
relationship, and I gotta address you
Don't
accordingly.
try me.
You know what I mean? Yeah, try Jesus, cause I throw hands.
Right.
You know, right? But I put my best foot forward, and I pray that God works on my soul every day, that I become more and more forgiving and more peaceful. But my peace is my peace ain't
It's hard.
my cup of peace is not overflowing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you drink all my peace, what you left with is not very good for you.
so let me just take a moment and say
And I
if you're
also,
watching us with us, make sure you like this. If you're
Like,
new on, just make a comment. Let us know that you're watching, like Crystal has, and like Nikki has, and like Sean has. And then take a moment and share this on your page or share this in the groups. I just want to make sure we welcome all the folks that are on with us and comment. Let us know what you think about our conversation in real time. That's the beautiful thing about the well is that you can interact. Brennen B, go ahead, my brother.
something I just thought about, and it probably is something I should have thought about earlier. Was even like, but I thought about it when Taylor mentioned like how sometimes contradictory the Bible can feel and seem, and if you look at it, like I mean, even in the case with the woman who was about to be stoned. The people who
mm-hmm.
were about to stone her were 100% right according to the law of the land, their their religious code or religious practices and things like that. But Jesus
Mm-hmm.
stepped in and said something that was like he wrote something, and then he said, "Whoever is without sin, throw the first stone." And it's like in that
Yeah.
when I
He wrote,
think of that
"Where's the brother?"
story and I apply it to even that question. Well, then no, because I would have to then be without sin to justify me murdering someone else or killing someone else. And if that's the case, no. Like it's just a
Right.
simple answer of no to me. But like, and so that's where it's like I say I don't know because I still wrestle. I'm still wrestling with the question now as we talk about it and thinking about the scripture and how would like it be represented in real life today. But when I look at that story, my first thought is no, because Jesus said he that is without sin cast the first stone, not whoever feels like they're justified or whoever feelings was hurt by whatever happened.
Yeah. I mean, we do see in the Old Testament, if I can just expand on that, like
Mm-hmm.
we did see
Mm-hmm.
the Canaanites, they were delivered unto Israel, and God allows them. He says, "Go, and you can do away with them." We see in 1 Samuel and 15, Amalekites were given to Saul and Israel as well, and God does tell them. He says, "Go, deal with them, right? Get rid of them." And he hands them all over to Israel. So we do have these moments that we do see God almost instruct people to go into the land, and He says, "Take them."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know, and people have argued about the interpretation of it, but there are some problems with the argument of interpretation because if you interpret and say that well, he it was written later by folks who just wanted to have power, then we didn't need to question the authority over God's word.
Mm-hmm.
If we, so so I'm just presenting these moments that in the Bible it tells people to go and do. So I want to go back to my sister Kim because I know you were going to bring up something about war, and I know we were going to talk about this.
Yep.
We have it in the questions. What then do we say about war? Like,
Is it justifiable?
is it justifiable?
I say it is when you bring it to me.
He said, I say it is,
You
you bring it
bring
to
the
me.
war to me, then yeah, it's justifiable. I mean, I can fight back.
I think once again it goes to the intent and the background of the reasoning
Yeah.
of going to war, just like Brendan said. You know, for example, if you have a country that is being slaughtered by another country, um, uh, over history, we've had to do that. We've had to counter evil. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people go to war for greed. You know, greed. I think it's another difficult one. It's tough. My husband
I think
mentioned,
this is all tough.
yeah, he mentioned. I don't get my notes.
I know I kind of jumped ahead in that
Yeah, see,
question.
hold on, time
Yeah,
out. For
he
anybody else
mentioned
that comes on the well, we got it. Like y'all got to bring it like Miss Kim brought it. She got notes.
You
That's
got
what
notes.
she got notes. That's what I'm talking about.
so. There is the just war theory to which is even applied to this day. So the just war theory of, once again, if there's harm coming to a large group of people in a country, that's falls under the line of justification for war. Um, you know, if it's just to move political agendas, that's really not a justification for war. So, um, but either way, nobody wins in it. You know,
Yeah.
there's casualties all over. Um, but you know, but as far as killing, you know, that it's been since the beginning of time, since you know Cain and Abel. So mankind has fallen to sin from day one, and I think we look at our society today, and and I think people are throwing up their hands like, what is going on? Why, how has
Mm.
our world gone so violent? And we're not even talking in other countries, and oh, I mean, we're talking about our neighborhoods. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you turn on the news every day in the state of Maryland, somebody is being murdered, somebody is being raped,
Mm-hmm.
somebody is, the violence is just, you know, you wonder, are we back to the Old Testament where just people are just nuts? Like, what's going on? What's going on? And I think
So,
that's where the saints of church have to go to war, because speaking of war, we are in one. We are in a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
war, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we're losing, but it's the battles has gotten stronger,
so
and I
real quick,
think,
Kim, can I
yeah.
cut you real quick? I just want to break in with Elder Paulette. She says she kind of goes along with something you said. She says war comes from we as a human species always trying to show justification of who should be or is in charge, or i.e. control. So I think she kind of just goes along with you. And Pastor Tay, I saw you kind of nodding your head a little bit. So I just want to know, are you in agreement with what Kim is saying? Because it seems like you.
Yeah, I mean, so like, come on, Lancaster education. Romans, I can't remember, but you know, authority to you know, be governed to a higher authority. So if the president sends troops over to fight a war, you know what I mean, and for myself preservation, for me to save my life, I got to take someone else's. You know, like I don't know how you can fault somebody for that. You know what I mean? Like you look at our soldiers and the military. A lot of them didn't ask to be overseas. You look at we spent what 20 years overseas for what? I thought it was
Nothing.
mass weapons of mass, you know what I mean, weapons of mass destruction, but turns out it was really nothing. But like you can't fault the men and women who you can't say they weren't brave. You can't say they weren't honorable. You can't say their lives didn't matter. And you know what I mean? So it's that type of thing. War is a tricky thing. Even in scripture, when we look at the Old Testament, a lot of times when we did take out the Canaanites and we did take out those pagan tribes, they would always say, never take anything, right? Burn it and sacrifice it to God. I mean, and if I recall right, when Saul went out of favor, it's because he didn't do that, right? So even with those Old Testament battles or wars or whatever, there was still some sense of honor within it. You know what I mean? Within that cultural realm. So like senseless murder is terrible. If man, you stepped on my sneaker, bang, that's terrible. But I can't put senseless killing. Well, all killing is senseless, but I can't put random senseless killing because of just random anger and war in the same realm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of where Kim was going. So I agree with Kim,
So
Miss Kim.
so JJ Josh is watching. He says yes, these do feel like the last days. And Elder Paulette says, for our wars now lack the spirituality piece of actually having a higher belief in which could cause peace or more humanity. So Butterfly, I'm gonna jump to you because Tay said something that's really interesting. He said all killings are senseless. Is that the case when we think about abortion? Because some people say that abortion is
Whoa.
justifiable. Some people say that abortion is not justifiable. And we, of course, have the historical Roe versus Wade um, uh, court case that made abortions a legal thing. And I know all my women who are watching, Crystal, I know you're on, and Nikki, I know you're on.
So
I,
I was just about to say
I
something.
think 3J is gonna say something before you answer Butterfly, but yeah, my question goes right after 3J says what he says. My question goes to you, Butterfly. Do we find then that abortion is justifiable?
So
This
in
conversation
respect,
took such a
so
turn.
so it did, and so with this
We
with this
went from war
conversation
to
taking this turn
abortion.
into this,
It's
I'm
like,
asking, and with this
okay.
conversation taking a turn to the way that it did, I'm asking
Thought we were talking
for
about
all the
gun laws. We
fellas.
talking about abortion.
Nah, but here are though. I'm asking in respect for all the fellas at the time due to what's going on now and how we have had numerous of men saying that this should be happening. I want us men to be quiet real quick so the women can talk about this because this mostly involves them. This is their body. This is their sanction. So with that, no fella respond to anything right now. Women, we want you to completely answer this because it's dealing with y'all mostly. So with that, y'all voices are more important right now. So you was about to say
And
something.
let me give you this too. Just before you respond, we did ask this on our Instagram poll, and according to our poll, so we asked the question: is abortion murder? The answers that you could give were one, 100% cold-blooded murder, or two, I think not. I will say that in our poll, and I know that it can be skewed by different things, but in our poll, 18% said it is 100% cold-blooded murder. 82% actually said, I do not think so. I think not. And I do want to admit that this was answered by male and female pollers. All right, so Butterfly, I'm going to let you go ahead.
Yep.
So the question is abortion murder?
Yeah, and is it
And it's
justifiable?
justifiable as well.
Yeah. Abortion is not murder to me because I'm pro-choice. So
Okay.
there are many situations where a decision has to be made. And it is not a decision I feel like that is like what you want for dinner. This is a life-changing decision for two individuals, well, really three, for the mother of that child, the father of that child, and that child. So in certain situations, I feel like a decision needs to be made. And I don't feel like people can tell you what to do with your body as a woman. I don't feel like, in a sense, you should be judged whether you make that decision for yourself. Because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of the times when you're judged by that, these people aren't gonna help you take care of this child. They aren't going to help you get health insurance for the child. They might not even help you get health insurance for you to even have to go through the process to have a baby, or fund this child when this is all over with. So this whole thing that's going on with the abortion laws changing, where you can't even, certain states, be over 6 weeks before you can make the decision to have an abortion. We don't even know that. We don't even really know we're pregnant really until that time. So it's kind of like, I don't think that it's not justifiable. I think that if you choose to make that decision for you, that's your decision at the end of the day, and you shouldn't be judged by that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Miss Kim, what you think?
Okay, I'm gonna rock the boat. Here we go.
Okay,
Um,
let's get it.
This Kim's such a G.
dirty. um, no, I mean, this is one of the hardest topics to discuss,
Mhm.
and that Butterfly is right. It involves the woman, the baby, and the man. But I think the question we need to ask ourselves, or for me, I'm just speaking for
Yeah.
me is to decide whether a fetus is a life or not. And is it a life from the beginning, or is it a life when it grows legs? Like, where does the life begin? Um, Interesting enough, I found out when my parents found out when I was little, because I'm adopted, and I had to repeat kindergarten twice because I guess I wasn't doing very well. But it turned out that my birth certificate was wrong because in the culture of Korea, actually, they acknowledge your life from the moment of conception. So they acknowledged me as 9 months older than I was outside the womb. Um,
Wow.
I found that very interesting. But we have to look at, I guess for the woman, it's up to her, I guess, to decide where life begins and I guess where life ends. Um, for me, I am pro-life, and that goes across the board. So I am not for the death penalty, and I am for pro-life. Now, I think one of the other harder questions is yeah, there's several reasons on the table why a woman has to come to that decision. You know,
Mhm.
was she raped, or was she young, or is it just not the right time, or like what's, her situation. But sometimes I question when it comes to the situation. Let's see, because I had a friend who had an abortion at a very young age because she was only 19 and wasn't ready. Um, because of your situation, or now we look at, well, are women justified having abortions if they find out their child is deformed or has special needs or anything like that. But the thing I find is that life situations are not guaranteed. You can be in a perfect situation and get pregnant, and something may happen. The child may be born with a defect. The child may have an accident or harm come to them, and then they're a quadriplegic. So, do you keep loving the child in a tough situation, or you may get divorced? So then, what do you do with the child? So it's a very complex situation, and I don't judge other women for their decisions, because for a lot of the situations I have not been in their position, so it's not my position to judge. But I am pro-life, and I did come across a recent podcast that was discussing that in the country of Iceland, they are patting themselves on the back because they say they got rid of about 90% of children with and I'm going blank, Down syndrome. And the
Hmm.
problem is they're making it come across as it was a medical breakthrough, but what it was is that women were aborting at such a high rate with children already pre-diagnosed with Down syndrome that they basically got rid of it in their country. So it's a tough situation, and then we have to look at sometimes the abortion clinics that are in our communities. When they were started, were they started to help the woman, or were they started to eradicate some of our minority groups? We have people say that Bob Woodson says that abortion clinics were put into Black communities to control the population. And ultimately, it destroyed a lot of Black families. So it's very complicated. For me, I am pro-life. If God has created that, when God creates that life, and He says in the Bible, "I have known you before you were in the womb," then who am I to take that away?
Before you speak, Butterfly, let me just read a couple comments. Hold on. Do not lose your thought. Do not lose your thought. Crystal
Okay.
says abortion can be justifiable. There are children that are abused and thrown in dumpsters because the mother never develops a maternal bond with the child. But she also said that it depends on the stage. Um, Miss Nikki says abortion is tricky, but it is justifiable for many, many reasons. A 12-year-old has no business having a baby, and pregnancy and birth is very traumatic to the body as a whole. Um, what I do enjoy that Crystal says, I don't think women should use abortion as a form of birth control, but it's justifiable in some cases. And Jawan says, Christianity to me is all about choice. I currently don't believe in abortions, but I do believe in the right to choose. And so, Butterfly, I'm going to hop back to you, and then I do have a comment as well. But Butterfly, go ahead.
I think a lot of the times when it comes to that, because it is a tricky subject, it's one of the things that a lot of people don't want to talk about or don't want to discuss, but I feel like it's something that people want to control, if that makes sense, in a sense where
Perfect sense.
we literally are losing the right to our bodies at this point. Like, people are literally saying, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. You can't do it. Like, after this certain stage, but it's kind of a tricky situation because they get you to a point where you can't make the decision at that point because they put a timeline on somebody's uterus to keep it a buck. And for me, it's only personal for me because I am somebody who had a miscarriage in my life. And the miscarriage that I had came from, in a sense, I didn't know I was pregnant. This is really the first time I'm ever really talking about this. I did not know I was pregnant. But the person that I got pregnant by, I left because they were abusive to me. And I didn't find out. I
Thank you for
didn't
sharing.
find out
Gotcha.
until it was too late, until I had a miscarriage. But would I have had that child? No, because the dad hit me. You know what I mean? So it was taken out of my hands because of what happened. But I'm just saying, when it's us, it's just you as a woman, as an individual, knowing that what's going to happen at the end of the day on the other side of this. It is sometimes, not saying that the father's not involved, but it's just you as a woman with your womanhood, with your womb, with your body, in a sense. And it's like you got to make a decision that is going to affect the rest of your life. It is not a game to bring a child into the world just for the sake of somebody saying you need to have that child because you need to have it. But if you need to have it, but you're going to be toxic to that child, you're going to be emotionally abusive to that child, you're going to be mentally abusive to that child, depending on the situation, because you really just didn't want to have the child, but you did it because somebody said you have to do it. That is a disservice to that baby. And giving it up for adoption, that's a disservice to that baby, because later on down the line they're gonna be like, well, mama, have it, but give it up for adoption. Okay, well, why my mama didn't want me? Why I gotta grow up in the foster care system, depending on the situation? Why wasn't I good enough? You are creating generational chaos in a sense.
Whew.
So it
Whew.
depends on what you want to
It got
do
real.
with your body and your life, because you got to think about that thing. And not saying that it's absolutely right, but if God, like I said, knew me when he was in my mother's womb, then he knew what was going to happen with my womb.
So I think it's interesting. I want to take a quick moment to just breathe.
That got real.
I want to say, Kim, Butterfly, you guys have shared some really
Real,
heartfelt stories,
like,
and I think at this point, of the whale is for me, in that what you all are witnessing, right, is two people who have different ideologies, different theology, right? And I just want to say this: I don't think any of us could go on without saying to both of you, we just love you both so much,
like, easy.
and we love you for sharing what you
Love
shared.
y'all.
First of all, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I wanted to,
And I just
y'all had to.
yeah,
That's
please, Brennan.
yeah, bro. Go ahead.
nah, Miss Kim, I actually wanted to shout you out because you're one of the pro-lifers that I can actually respect in their position, because you're against the death penalty. Unlike in Texas, where if a woman actually gets an abortion, she could receive the death penalty for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like like you got that whole pro-life thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it gets I don't know,
A little tricky.
misconstrued, or just it gets applied to this one situation. And I think, I mean, and it's funny because my own journey on this whole, like, is abortion right? Is it not right? To this day, I still, like, again, I don't know. And in that case, like, for myself, I'm 100% pro-choice, but I'm also 100% like, I hope you choose life. Like, that's it for me, because I feel like I completely understand that there are a myriad of situations that me as a man, first of all, I would have zero idea of what's going on with a woman's body, and how a pregnancy or can affect them spiritually, emotionally, physically, anything like that. And I don't feel like I have the right to make a decision. And this is for me, even as a father of a child, I feel like I don't have the right to then make what potentially could be a lifetime decision for another woman. I pray to God, if I'm ever in that situation, that, like, life is chosen. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like I have like, I'm not in that fight. I'm from the stands, and I'm rooting for one side, but I'm happy either way. Not happy, but I can accept it either way. You know what I'm saying?
Hang
And
on
can
one
I say
second.
this
Hang
too?
on one second.
Yeah,
Let's get a little bit dirty. And I spoke this with Ramon in
I
a
think you're going.
pre
I think you're gonna
time.
go where I was about to take
Here
it.
we go. Here we go. Let's get out the tide. We're about to get clean. Um, it's interesting because in another scenario, definitely not Miss Butterflies, and much love to you, sweetheart, and much love to you, and it breaks my heart, and I want you to know there's no judgment, but but love for you. Um, I find another aspect of the abortion issue that is really not discussed, and it's and even in our court systems. Let's say you have a scenario where two people get together, the woman gets pregnant, but what happens if she decides to have, if she wants an abortion, she has the power to do so. But what happens if the father wanted that baby?
Mm.
Now, on the
Yeah.
flip point of that, what happens if she, when she gets pregnant and the father doesn't want the baby, she has the baby, and she still has the power to make him pay for the baby? So
It's
I find
consequences with all your decisions. Y'all
I
laid
find
down
our
and
society
finessed.
and our rules are
Mm-hmm.
very complex. So So,
Ooh.
I speak on this topic not just from a woman's point of view, but also hopefully a man's point of view as well. So
So,
it'd be
so let
interesting
me just
to get
open this
your
up.
guys'
Let me
perspective on that.
let me just open this up before I think Tehran might have a word and Brennan might too.
I
Let me
don't
say
even know
this
if
for
I
my
want to say anything.
listen. Oh what?
Listen, I got you,
Tehran?
Tehran.
What?
You
Pastor
fall in
Tay?
right after me.
What?
No, it's
Tehran,
hard to
Hey.
take
you
the
fall in right
offense.
after
I
me.
know you
Man.
laughed at. It looks like you got
This
the
one of them
Tourette.
things, huh?
I will say this. I will say on behalf of my mother, who is not, who I don't know if she's watching today, but my mom would kill me if I got off and didn't have. My mom is very clear all the time. If you don't put it in, you ain't got this problem. She said, keep it
That's
out,
what, hey,
stay
bro. Hey,
abstinent,
old baby,
and
that's what I was
preach
about to
it.
say.
my, my mom would be, if I didn't say it, my mom would kill me. My mom, I don't care about condoms. I don't care about safe sex, nothing. Just
Listen,
don't have sex, and we won't
my
have any
mom used to
problems.
say, it's only one way. It's only one way to make sure you don't have no baby. Don't have no sex.
Okay?
Facts.
We're all not a
Okay.
virgin marriage.
Facts.
Not gonna.
I mean,
Unless you're
even
Virgin
with
Mary.
that
Right,
though,
right, right.
Well,
No, but I
even
Tehran,
think,
with
what
I
you
that,
mean,
think?
that's what I'm
in
saying. Those are life
that
changing
sense,
decisions. So it's kind of like the guy has to make the decision. I mean, both of y'all have to make a decision. That's what I'm saying. Even before that happens, put on a CON dumb. Okay, make sure.
John.
Maybe she's taking some.
I think my
Okay,
mom might
a
be
but
watching.
that's what I'm saying.
CON
Yeah, but
dumb.
you gotta be
COM
careful
dumb.
who you lay with, okay? Because you're not supposed to be having babies
And I
with your
think, I
sneaky
mean,
link. You're not supposed to be having babies with your friends with benefits. You're not supposed, like, in a sense, I'm just saying. You gotta just be careful. Just be
Yeah,
careful. Because I know when I want to have
but
kids, I
Just
know I
don't
want to
do
have
to
it.
kids with
Miss
my husband.
Kim's
So there ain't
point,
no doubt. Because even now, like, if you're married, people at the hospital will still be like, "Are you absolutely sure you want to sign this
Oh,
birth
your OG.
certificate?" I'm telling you. Like, you could be married and the nurse be like, hey, bruh, you sure you want to put your name on this birth certificate? Because once you sign it now, you
listen.
know
I'm
you're
a, I'm a
baby,
just,
responsible.
real
I'm a
light
just.
skin, you real dark skin.
I want to say
Yeah.
this, and then
Now,
I'm gonna let
it's getting
everybody else
real
go.
dark.
Brennan,
If a
hold on.
nurse,
Brennan
None of
is
y'all
saying something.
got
I want
red
Brennan to be able
hair.
to say what he got to say. Go ahead,
if
Brennan.
a
Say what you want to say.
if a nurse ever asks me when I'm at the hospital if I want to put my name on a birth certificate, somebody in that room is dying. I'm gonna just let that
Listen,
be
I'm
somebody
telling
in
you, where
that
the
room.
swab at? Where the
Next
swab?
Somebody in
subject,
that room
Doctor.
is
Next
going.
subject,
You
Doctor.
sure?
I
But
don't even
Because
know who it is,
to,
but
I've heard
like
plenty of men be
somebody in that
like,
room is
the
going
nurse
down.
asks them, like, you sure you want to sign that
Pastor Tay, you
joint?
about to say something too, brother.
yeah, but I mean, honestly, to Miss Kim's point, I think it's a misconception, or at least it's really not talked about how it does affect the man. And I'm speaking from personal experience that happened to me, where I mean, I was with the female, she ended up getting an abortion, and at first I didn't think it it really messed with me, but that was when I was 22, and now I'm 34. I don't have no kids, so just like as you get older, you have to live with the decision, right? And I don't know I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can't speak on it. I can only speak from a man's perspective, which is probably nonsense. But either way, it's my perspective, right? But like
No.
you have to look at that from a man's point of view. If he's a man, right? If he's willing to step up to the plate and do his duties as a man, it does affect the man in some ways. But at the same time, as much as it affects a man, as Butterfly said, it doesn't affect our bodies as it affects. So like that's a whole change. It's not just a mental. It's not just a mental thing, right? That's a physical thing, and in some ways a spiritual thing. So in that sense, I think I do feel like the woman should have all the power in that situation, even if it's not fair, because I can say I want a baby, then it come out, and then you know what? This is messing up my style, and give you whatever money out my check, and never have to worry about it again. But you, as the woman, have to deal with that consequence Usually, if you're a woman,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, you have to deal with that even when the man feels like he doesn't want to. So that's kind of my stance on it.
So I could go on. We could go on with this all night, but I do want to go. I want to jump because
What?
we really kind of over time. But I want to get to this really quickly. I had this conversation a while back with
Yep.
someone who also was sort of comparing this
She's
to
watching you.
yeah.
Your mother
I
is
see I
here,
see I
Ray.
see that
You are being
I
watched.
see that you're there, Ma. I spoke up for you, Ma. I spoke up for you. That you can say I'm your baby because I spoke up for you, Mama. listen. Okay,
I
real quick.
spoke up for you.
But somebody compare. A lot of people have compared the abortion piece to the mask mandate and the vaccine mandate piece, saying that if you don't get the mask and if you don't wear if you don't wear the mask and you don't get the vaccine, then you are in the same way you're killing people. The question at one point was like, how can you believe in pro-choice and
Oh,
abortion, but you don't
Lord.
believe in pro-choice for the vaccine?
No,
I'd like to
Is
know.
that really a conversation?
It's really a conversation, yo. So I'd love to know
The hell?
from
Okay.
all of you all really quickly. How do we feel about the mask and the vaccine mandate? Are we killing people if we don't wear our mask and we don't wear our vaccine because you don't know who you're spreading it to, or is that even comparable? So let's talk.
Oh man.
Can I just
That's-
start with we shouldn't necessarily we can have the mask mandate conversation as far as whether or not it kills people, but I don't want to compare that to abortions. Like,
Yeah, I don't think you really can, yeah. Like that's a
like
I don't think you
like for me personally, I'm cool on that whole conversation if that's
yeah,
what we're
I don't know, yeah. Like I'm gonna
Okay.
take Brennan's
Okay.
cop out. I don't know. I'm gonna take Brennan's cop out. I don't know.
So this is a real thing. Like, this is a real thing.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there is. I mean, to me, there is no comparison. And what I want people to do is let people kind of like, even the whole thing with that. I would just say the only thing that I say is let people live in their truth. If they don't want to get vaccinated, if they don't want to wear their mask, that is their personal choice. And at the end of the day, that's on them, because this whole thing is like, I feel like it's a scare tactic, kind of like how they tell people, in a sense that it's murder, like for like, well, don't do it. You need to have it. It's kind of like the same there, but it's a personal choice. I feel like even with being vaccinated again, or with wearing your mask, that is a personal choice. These people are wilding. You do whatever it is to protect yourself at the end of the day. If you want to wear your mask, wear your mask. If you don't, then you're out there. If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't, then you out there. It's like, because it's like a double side of two sides of the same coin, in a sense, because people do get vaccinated. People have passed away. People haven't got vaccinated. People have passed away. People wear their mask, even during the time people were wearing their mask, and that wasn't necessarily a protection for people. It's like, it just depends on what you want to do. That is that's not a worldly thing to me. That is an individual choice. If you want to step outside again, if you don't have your mask on, you don't want to do it, because and sometimes you just tired. Because I know sometimes I get tired of wearing my mask. I really, really do. I still wear my mask, but I'll be like, bruh, I miss looking at people smile. I miss like watching people laugh. Like you trying to
can't
take
tell
your
how
order.
ugly somebody
Hello,
is
can
with
I
a
take
mask
your
on.
Yeah,
order?
ugly
Can I
girls
take
winning
your
because of
order?
the mask.
Wait a
Ugly
minute.
girls is winning.
Wait a minute.
You gotta go. You try to go. I'll be at Starbucks. Can I get a
Listen,
chai tea with extra pumpkin? Can I get a
leggings,
chai
leggings
tea
and
with
a
extra
t-shirt
pumpkin?
is beating
They're
the
like,
whole
what?
game because of a
What?
mask.
Leggings and a
Like, you
t-shirt.
got some pretty
I'm gonna tell you.
eyes. I'm
I'm gonna hurt you,
Listen,
Terry.
eyes
man.
on
I'm gonna
pretty
hurt you, Terry.
contacts
I'm
they
just
never
saying, hey, we
sold. That's how they selling
keep it
now.
real on the well, right?
Keep it real. We keep it real on
I'm
the
telling you,
world.
Yeah, we
contacts
do.
is on contacts is winning.
Nah, but going along.
I'm
I
telling you.
do.
They
I
Ray-Bans.
100%.
Oh, she fine. Nope.
Oh my side. Oh Lord.
Not nope.
I 100% agree with Butterfly though.
Taylor.
I 100% agree with Butterfly
Well,
that
I would
like the
say
vaccine mandates or the vaccine itself is kind of it's a personal choice. It is. But also to abide by the mandates in public places is a personal choice. So you have to consider in that your personal choice. If I don't get this vaccine, there are places I can't go. Like that's a
And
part that
go,
has to be a
right?
part of your personal choice. Like, and if I
Hmm.
don't get this
Yeah.
vaccine, I might be subjected to other restrictions. That's a part of your personal choice. You can't expect to, because I make the choice I want, I get the benefits that everybody else gets. That's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily how that works. So for me, I think I've said it on here before. 100% vaccinated. Can't wait to get my booster shot. Um, you know, like so, running up to the front of the line when that comes, because I don't like it was. I think COVID had too much of an effect on my the people I love. I never or I didn't ever I never tested positive for it, but there was some people that was real close to me that tested positive. A bunch of them died, and it's just not something I want to play with. And I think one of the things we have to do as people, and I think this is on abortion and this mask mandate, like we got to stop. We got to just look at facts and start talking about facts, like not the fear mongering stuff and like people trying to control you to get a vaccine. No, people trying to save your life, fam.
Right.
Let's not do this. And and like again, yes, it's absolutely 100% everybody's personal choice to get the vaccine, not get the vaccine, wear a mask, not wear a mask. All of that is your personal choice, and nobody can take that away from you. What they can take away from you is access to certain places if you don't abide by their rules. And if that's what
Pretty
you want to
much.
do, then you got to live with it. Like, accept it.
And
Like,
not
don't
be
cry
upset.
about it later. That's my thing. Either way, or whatever you feel, make your choice and live with your choice. Don't cry about it and say somebody treating you bad because you made a choice.
Kyrie Irving.
Uh,
Anyway,
re-
this was great.
really quickly, I want to, if Miss, we're gonna close, but Miss Kim, Tehran, do y'all have anything to add to that piece?
I got vaccinated just because I'm like, I've had a good life. I'm ready to roll the dice.
um,
Wow.
listen,
Fam,
Wow.
we got about 10 other
Wow.
vaccines in us that ain't never did nothing bad to
yeah,
us either. So
listen.
hey, listen,
There
at
are
this
more
point,
people.
we out here.
The negative stereotype of the vaccine that's just going to kill you. There have been more people who died from the flu shot than any than any Moderna
Dude, I just
or
got one
Pfizer
like yesterday.
or vaccine. But I mean, listen, I'm a medical researcher. I've worked for Johns
Dang, why
Hopkins,
you do
working
that
with
to her, Tay?
Pfizer, and now I work for
Why you
Moderna.
do that to her?
I'm telling you that we are doing so many studies to make sure that it is safe. Like, you have no clue how much money is being spent, how many resources are being out there to make sure that it is all safe. I every day I go to work to make sure it's safe. I was working with Pfizer, now I'm working with Moderna. I've seen the impact and the terrible hoods of the city. Like I've seen impoverished neighborhoods who people say I've never had COVID, but you just was so high you didn't know. I've seen it with the rich white folks out in Northwest DC where I'm at now. COVID is I've lost my father to COVID. I almost died from COVID. 3 weeks in the hospital. For people to say it's not real, you do a disservice not only to yourself but just common sense.
Yeah, that's the part
That's
that
what I don't know. I
the
can't convince nobody to do nothing, but I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
my booster shot. I
the
work with
COVID
it.
not real.
Like that is my job as a medical researcher. I work for Moderna. They is not trying to kill you. There's no computer chip in the needles we give. It's
It
it's
doesn't
none of
change your
that. I'm telling
DNA.
you. There's none of that. There's no splicing of the DNA. I promise you, we spend so much. My paycheck comes from this. I promise you. There's
Okay.
nothing.
You
There's
sure
nothing.
you sure Tehran you not putting no tracking devices in people?
I don't
Right.
want to
Oh,
know where
hold
you
on.
at.
You might be a little
Oh,
biased with that.
oh,
I don't want to know where you
That's what
at.
they
Take
want you to think.
the
Don't y'all listen to him. He worked
All
for them.
right.
Don't y'all listen. No,
All right.
just
Let me tell you, I'm getting it. I got it.
Listen, we want to
I got
we
one.
want to thank y'all. We want to thank y'all for being a part of the well. I mean, it's always
Pfizer
I want to
gang.
say honestly, Brendan and Jew really they were the folks who really were like, you know what, our first encounter back, we need to just have squad on. So Kim, you're always squad. Butterfly, you're always squad. You guys, there is again so much coming up with the well. Please mark your calendars for November 21st. We'll have Butterfly on to talk about that a little later. There is a whole thing going down in the city. So if you're in the city, I'm gonna try to get Brendan I'm gonna get Brendan to fly up. Because Brendan, we just got to make sure you're here, brother, to enjoy some of this with us. But November 21st, right before Thanksgiving. Listen, it's gonna be magnificent. But if I do it later, I don't like.
Share later.
Are you gonna have another Encounter the Well before then?
Yeah, we have tons of them before then. We have every Thursday.
Have a sessions.
Oh, okay. Do you want? I mean, that's on you. You in charge. I mean,
We can
if you
wait.
want to talk about it, because see, now I feel like we have to, because everybody's gonna be like, "What the he double hockey sticks are y'all talking
No,
about?"
they
Now I
can
want to
wait.
know.
Patience is
Well, I
a
tell you what.
virtue.
Here's I'm gonna give you a second to think about it. Here's what I do want you to do on our page. There is the next. I want you guys every week, if you could, just check in with us. We always put the event up for the next week. We're gonna get better at that as a team. The event for next week is up. Stop the Vote is what next week is called.
Woo!
If you could just go to our Facebook page and mark that you are going, that would help us a lot so that we can continue to invite as many people as we can to each event. So go to our Facebook page, Encounter the Well. All of our social media handles are the same, Encounter the Well on Instagram and Facebook. Go to our Facebook and mark that you will be there. And you'll see the event pop up probably before we even say anything, unless Butterfly says it before we get off. And make sure that, oh, look at the dog. Make sure that you're following, you check out our website. Make sure that you support us, y'all. We're about to do some amazing things, and the amazing things we want to do, it does cost us. So of course we want your time, your prayers, all of that is necessary, but we also need funds and money. So if you would love to partner with us and invest in us, you can always text to give, which is the numbers 84321. You can text 84321 any dollar amount, and we will receive that offering. And then if you want to go to the website, www.encounterthewell.org, and the last tab is Give. And then check out all of the other stuff about us. Again, there's so much more coming, so much we want to do, and we want to do this for you all because hashtag the well is you. Thanks again for everybody who's been on with us. Butterfly, Miss Kim, our squad, our extended squad, our normal squad, Pastor Tay, Brennen B, 3J, Minister 3J. We love y'all, Miss Nikki, Jawan, our regulars. Crystal, so good to see you tonight. Sean and Willie, I don't even want to get the name because we name everybody. The whole Wellian squad. We love y'all. And guess what? We are back, y'all. So next week, 8:15, join in. And all the way through there, we got so much stuff coming. Miss Jackie, Amplify Network, we love y'all. Peace out. Until next time, we love you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Gang, gang.
I feel like Jackie fell asleep over there at Amplify. She's like,
Music.
Wait a minute, are we still live?
I think we are still live.
You want to go night night?
Right.
Yeah, we still live. Look, they still go. Oh man. All right, everybody just freeze.
Ooh. Listen, I know T about it.
Wait. Oh,
Oh, he really was. I thought Brennan was on.